Have you ever wondered why your blood pressure seems perfectly normal one day and then suddenly spikes the next, as if your body is sending a message you don't quite understand? A patient once told me she thought her dizziness was just age and nothing to worry about, until she learned it was a warning her body had been whispering for years. And I want you to imagine this for a moment. What if one small habit you've done every day without thinking has quietly pushed your blood pressure higher and higher, building a risk you never saw coming? I've spent decades sitting across from older adults who felt confused, even frustrated, by their changing health after 60. Most of them believed that stroke comes from dramatic symptoms or sudden medical emergencies. But the truth is far more subtle. The biggest stroke triggers are hidden in ordinary routines. The foods you reach for because they're convenient. The stress you brush off because you think it's normal. The water you forget to drink. The sleep you skip. The medications you take at the wrong time without realizing how much it matters. These patterns may feel small, but they quietly influence circulation, oxygen flow, and the overall pressure inside your arteries. Blood pressure is one of the most powerful indicators of health as we age. It's not just a number on a monitor, it's the way your heart and brain communicate. It determines how well oxygen reaches the places that keep you steady, alert, balanced, and alive. When it goes unchecked, the smallest mistakes can become major risks. And I want you to hear this clearly. You're not doing anything wrong. You simply haven't been shown what your body has been trying to tell you. This video will help you see what has been hidden in plain sight. Today, we're going to talk about the hidden habits that trigger stroke, the silent blood pressure mistakes seniors ignore, why stroke risk rises so sharply after 60, and the simple changes that can protect your future. Think of this as a conversation between us, a moment of clarity, and a chance to reclaim control of your health. If you're ready, let's begin. And don't forget to stay connected with Senior Health Daily so we can keep learning and healing together. When we talk about blood pressure after 60, we're not just discussing numbers on a chart. We're talking about how your heart pumps life into every part of you, your memory, your balance, your energy, your independence. The truth is that blood pressure becomes more unpredictable and more dangerous as we age. Not because we've suddenly done something wrong, but because our bodies carry the wear and tear of every decade we've lived. Let's explore why that shift happens and why understanding it now can protect your tomorrow. Why blood pressure becomes more dangerous after 60. As you get older, your arteries naturally stiffen. Think of them like rubber bands that were once soft and stretchy, but slowly became less flexible over the years. When arteries stiffen, they cannot absorb the pressure of each heartbeat the way they used to. This means blood pressure spikes become sharper and more damaging. Many seniors assume this is simply aging, and while that's partly true, it doesn't mean it's harmless. Another major factor comes from the kidneys. After 60, the kidneys aren't as effective at removing sodium. Even if you don't add much salt, your body may still hold on to more than it should. That extra sodium pulls water into your blood vessels, increasing pressure inside them. I once had a patient in her early 70s who thought her blood pressure was unpredictable. Some mornings it was fine, and other days it shot up. But after tracking her diet, we discovered that something as simple as a bowl of canned soup or a deli sandwich was enough to push her numbers higher for hours. Hormones also play a role. After menopause, women become more sensitive to stress and salt. A stressful phone call, a bad night of sleep, or even skipping breakfast can create blood pressure spikes that feel random but are actually predictable once you understand your body. Mobility also changes after 60. Sitting becomes more common, especially for seniors who live alone, work from home, or don't go out as often. Long periods of sitting reduce circulation to the brain and legs. When you finally stand up, your blood pressure may surge as your body tries to adjust. Many seniors live alone, meaning nobody is there to observe early warning signs. A brief episode of dizziness or confusion might go unnoticed or be brushed off as just aging. But I'll tell you something I've seen countless times. One of my patients, a retired teacher, told me she kept feeling tired in the afternoon, She thought she just needed more rest. But when we looked closely at her symptoms, we realized she had been having small, silent blood pressure spikes for months. She wasn't ignoring them on purpose. She simply didn't know what they were. Now that we understand why blood pressure changes after 60, let's talk about the habits that quietly push it to dangerous levels. Hidden habits that trigger stroke. This is where things become personal, because many of these habits feel innocent. They don't hurt. They don't come with obvious symptoms. They're woven into daily routines so naturally that you barely think about them. High-sodium routines. Frozen meals, canned soups, and deli meats are among the most common hidden culprits. They pack far more sodium than most seniors realize. The problem isn't one meal. The problem is repetition. Eating these foods every day, or even several times a week, creates a steady rise in pressure that strains the arteries. When sodium pulls water into the bloodstream, your vessel walls stretch and tighten. Over time, they become less flexible. Once that happens, even small sodium increases hit harder. Skipping water. Another habit is simply not drinking enough water. Seniors often underestimate how dehydrated they are because the sense of thirst fades with age. But dehydrated blood is thicker, making it harder to pump. Thicker blood increases the risk of clots, which can lead to stroke. I once had a patient who told me she drank plenty of water, but when I asked her to track it, she realized she drank half of what her body needed. Overusing the salt shaker. Adding salt at the table feels harmless, just a pinch for flavor. But if that pinch happens every day for 20 or 30 years, it can quietly raise your blood pressure more than you realize. Eating late at night, late-night meals force your digestive system and your circulatory system to work harder while your body is supposed to be resting. Nighttime blood pressure increases are especially dangerous. They affect sleep quality and raise morning blood pressure. Elevated morning blood pressure is one of the strongest predictors of stroke. Sedentary habits. Many seniors spend long hours sitting. When we sit too long, circulation slows, especially to the brain. When you suddenly stand, your blood pressure surges to compensate. This constant up and down creates instability that strains your vessels. Ignoring medication timing. Taking blood pressure medication at the wrong time can cause dangerous spikes. Some seniors take all their medications in the morning. Others take them only when they remember. Inconsistent timing confuses the body and causes sudden swings in pressure. Poor sleep patterns. Sleep is essential for blood pressure regulation. Sleep apnea, frequent nighttime waking, or going to bed too late can raise the pressure inside your arteries. Many seniors don't know they have sleep apnea because they sleep alone. Daily caffeine overload. Coffee is comforting, but too much causes sudden surges in pressure. Energy drinks are even worse. While most seniors don't drink energy drinks regularly, those who do sometimes think the boost is harmless. Frequent stress without coping tools. Stress constricts blood vessels. When stress becomes daily and chronic, blood pressure stays elevated longer. Seniors often carry emotional burdens quietly. They worry about finances, adult children, or health. But without healthy ways to release stress, the body pays the price. These habits by themselves may not seem severe, but together they build a hidden foundation of risk. The more they repeat, the more pressure moves from manageable to dangerous. Silent blood pressure mistakes. Seniors ignore. Now let's talk about the signs that your blood pressure is quietly rising, even when you feel fine. These symptoms often appear briefly and disappear quickly. Because they are subtle, they're easy to misinterpret. Minor dizzy spells happen when the brain doesn't get enough blood flow for a moment. Neck pressure or a tightness around the shoulders can signal tension in your arteries. Eye pressure or blurry vision comes from fluctuating blood flow behind the eyes. Short episodes of confusion or forgetfulness may occur when parts of the brain experience temporary drops in oxygen. A brief feeling of heaviness in the chest or breathlessness can happen when elevated pressure forces the heart to work harder. I can't tell you how many seniors have dismissed these signals. They say it's dehydration, stress, fatigue, or just a bad day. But these moments matter. They're whispers from your body telling you something isn't right. If these symptoms happen once in a great while, they may not be cause for concern. But if they happen repeatedly, even lightly, your body is waving a red flag. Stroke triggers linked to high blood pressure. Let's take a moment to understand why high blood pressure is the leading cause of stroke in older adults. When blood pressure stays high, it creates constant force against your vessel walls. Over time, this force causes microtears. These tiny tears trigger inflammation. Your body tries to repair them with plaque. Plaque narrows your arteries, making it harder for blood to flow. Narrow vessels are more likely to burst or block, and when a vessel bursts or a clot blocks blood flow to the brain, that's when a stroke happens. Think of your blood vessels like a garden hose. If the hose is flexible and new, it can handle strong pressure. But if it's older, stiff, or has tiny cracks, too much pressure will make it burst. Sudden spikes, like those from stress, caffeine, or missing medication, become even more dangerous when arteries are already weakened. Sleep disruptions also worsen this. Morning blood pressure is naturally higher, and when morning spikes meet stiff arteries, the risk increases significantly. Major mistakes raising stroke. Risk. After 60. Some mistakes are so common that seniors don't even realize they are risky. Drinking alcohol daily can increase pressure gradually. Eating processed meats regularly adds hidden sodium. Ignoring swollen ankles can be dangerous because swelling is often a sign of circulation issues or heart strain. Many seniors don't check their blood pressure at home, relying on the doctor's office alone. That means they miss dangerous surges. Believing "I feel fine, so I'm safe" is one of the most common and dangerous assumptions. Blood pressure is often called a silent killer for a reason. You can feel fine until the moment something goes wrong. Over-relying on processed convenience foods is another widespread issue. These foods often contain hidden salt, preservatives, and additives that push pressure higher. Avoiding doctor visits due to fear, pride, or cost can delay diagnosis and treatment. I once had a patient who avoided checkups for almost 5 years. By the time she finally came in, her blood pressure had been dangerously high for months. What causes stroke in seniors over 60? For seniors, stroke risk is a combination of age, health conditions, lifestyle, and biology. Hypertension and stiff arteries form the perfect storm. Diabetes and high cholesterol weaken vessel walls further. Dehydration thickens blood. Medication interactions can raise pressure unpredictably. Reduced oxygen flow to the brain makes small vessel disease more likely. Your brain needs steady, gentle, balanced blood flow. Not too high, not too low. But as we age, maintaining that balance becomes more challenging. The good news is that understanding your risks helps you control them. Practical daily prevention. Now let's talk about hope, control, and empowerment. The best part of this conversation is that small changes can make a big difference. Start with hydration. Drink water in the morning, midday, and evening. Replace salty foods with fresh meals whenever possible. Add light daily movement like stretching or a short walk. Check your blood pressure at the same time each day to see your patterns. Limit caffeine and alcohol. Create a simple bedtime routine to strengthen your sleep quality. Use herbs and spices to season your food instead of salt. Keep a health notebook to track symptoms, and involve family when you can. You are not alone in this journey. Above all, remember that every small step helps. Every simple choice adds up to a healthier heart, a stronger brain, and a safer future. As we come to the end of this conversation, I want you to take a deep breath and let something important settle into your heart. Most of the blood pressure mistakes after 60 that we talked about today are not failures. They are simply habits shaped by years of routine, years of caring for others, and years of pushing through life the best way you knew how. Your body has carried you through joy, loss, responsibility, and change. It has protected you through every chapter. And now, it is asking for your attention in return. Awareness is not meant to scare you. It is meant to free you. The moment you understand what your body is saying, fear begins to fade. Knowledge builds confidence. You start noticing the small whispers before they turn into shouts. A moment of dizziness, a wave of fatigue, a tightening in your neck. These are not signs of weakness. They are signals. They are your body's way of guiding you towards safety. I want you to hold on to this truth. Every small choice you make protects your ability to live freely, clearly, and joyfully. Drinking a little more water, sleeping a little better, moving your body a few more minutes each day, listening when something feels off. These are simple acts, but they carry extraordinary power. You are not alone on this journey. You deserve to feel informed, supported, and strong. You deserve a heart that beats with steadiness and a mind that feels clear and present. You deserve a long and healthy future that allows you to enjoy the people and moments you love most. Stay connected with Senior Health Daily so we can continue walking this path of awareness, protection, and healing together. Your well-being matters, and your future is worth every bit of care you give it.